I miss old skilling. Like, actually, like when it was like this. Well, in today's video, we're going to be talking about if skilling is dead and why it might be dead, and there's so many different options on how we can play this game and gather resources now. So let's hop right into the video. So first of all, I want to say that I've been max since 2022 when I finished my last skill, agility. And pretty much ever since then, I have been getting into PvM, a lot of Slayer, a lot of bossing, a lot of raids, and I would say that I've gotten a lot better at the game itself from when I previously was just a skiller. The reason I went ahead and maxed is because I like skilling. It's one of those things where I just like to see the level going up and up and up, and I just kind of had to complete it. But ever since I maxed, I wanted to gather items on my Ironman account, so I've learned so many different things like God Wars, different types of bosses, a couple raids. Like, there's a lot that I've learned in the past 3 years, but I've really missed skilling. It's another reason why I'm really excited for the new sailing skill to come out, so I can actually level a skill from like 1 to 99 again and kind of get to experience that all over again. Like, of course I could go for post experience, and I've been doing so in skills like fishing, cooking, and fire making, but it's definitely not the same, right? The reason I like skilling is because you can actually set a goal in mind. Like, I'm gonna get 99, and then you can see the progress you're making on that goal, and there's not really RNG involved, right? I've been going for a twisted bow now for over a year, and I'm no closer to when I started because it's just luck based, right? So I've gotten 500 KC at the Chambers of Zarek, and no twisted bow, right? Whereas if I was, say, going for a 99, I can see the progress in real time. So what actually killed skilling? I'm gonna say, like, one of the main things that killed skilling is PvM, and it's because of all of the resources that you get through it. Now, I know you need to make money with PvM, and one of the best ways to do so is by, filling it up with resource drops, and then players can sell these off, and that's how they can make their money. But it's caused a lot of the prices of these certain resources to drop, especially over the years if you look at them, right? Or even if you look at old numbers from like pre-evolution of combat, and compared to what they are in old school, the numbers are kind of insane. I remember from the 2006 Runescape, people were selling pure essence for like 70, 80, 90 GP each, and it was actually a good way for lower levels to make money and head over to the essence mine and mine essence. Can you imagine doing that today? I think they're like, what, 1 GP each now. Back when I was doing the 2004 RuneScape project, I mined a lot of pure essence there myself, which was a good way to actually make money because people needed it for rune crafting, right? And it's just very different now. You get so many pure essence from countless bosses like Zulrah, the Chambers of Zarek. I've got almost 1 million pure essence in my bank now, and like, I never mine them. Lots of resources are spit out from bosses like Zulrah or Vorkath, right? And these are very farmed bosses, and more players that kill them get good at them, right? They just spit all these resources into the game, like seeds and herbs and flax and just random skilling supplies that, people used to go out into the world and gather. Why would they do that when you can actually gather more from killing a boss, and you also make a lot more money from the other drops? It's just really a no-brainer to just do the bosses versus the traditional skilling method. I think a lot of the updates are catered to Ironman so that Ironman accounts can get these drops, because if old school was how it was at release, the Ironman game mode would be a lot harder. You'd actually have to go out into the world and mine the ore yourself and chop the trees yourself and do everything yourself, because a lot of the bosses didn't really spit out resources before, right? I think Zulrah was the one that kind of started the PvM train, introduced mechanics to bossing, like more difficult mechanics anyways, and sort of started the trend where bossing and PvM was going to be the new kind of thing for old school rather than, just skilling. Bots don't help either, right? So bots are programmed to just gather these resources anyways, you know, say mining rune or doing something that only makes 2 or 300k an hour. If a bot does it 24/7 and that's pretty much about it, then the resources are gonna get even more farmed. They're gonna drop in price even more, right? And now these bots are getting so advanced that they're doing the actual content. There's bots that are doing Zulrah, doing Vorkath, doing raids, which is just crazy. Bots doing that, bringing all this extra resources and wealth into the game definitely doesn't help the profitability you can make with skilling anymore. Don't get me wrong, I love PVM, and it's something that I never really did pre-EOC. It's something that I kind of had to fall in love with old school after I maxed, actually, right? Because for me, skilling has always been number one, getting as max total. That's kind of always been the way that I've played RuneScape, but ever since then, learning different bosses and raids and the mechanics is a lot of fun, and I've kind of grown to really like combat over time. I would say my favorite skill in the game is probably Slayer, and that was coming from somebody who liked just woodcutting and fishing back in the day. I'm not sure how Jagex could fix this. I mean, they could nerf a lot of the drops, but that would not make players very happy. I think the best approach to this would be in the future with different bosses, add different types of drops that maybe can help with skilling, or whatever, right? I've seen people talk about like adding different types of essence or something like that you actually have to go out into the world and use them with rune crafting, similar to like day old essence or something like that, right? Make these different types of resources that you actually have to use with skilling rather than just dumping right into the grand exchange. I don't know how else they could really tackle it. They obviously can't just completely remove all of the resource drops from bosses, because it wouldn't make the boss very fun anymore, right? Especially if you're going, you know, 200, 300, 400 kills drive the unique and you're just getting nothing along the way. Obviously that is not fun. Maybe they could add new resources with the sailing skill, like for example, new oars, new logs, new bars, like everything, new herbs, a bunch of different things that they could add with the sailing skill that maybe on different islands that they won't like pump into boss tables, like 100 at a time of this resource, 200 of this, 1,000 of this, right? Where you actually have to go out in the world and skill for them. I think this might be a really good approach with sailing. Sure, all the other resources that we already have, like gold ore and U-logs and whatever, you know, keep those on the boss tables that we have now, maybe even future bosses or raids, right? But I think certain resources should not be dropped by bosses. That's my personal opinion. I think that's a way to keep skilling kind of more relevant, and also just like for the long term of it, right? Because it will give players an incentive to actually go out in the world and skill, because that's the only way to get that resource. You can't just farm Zulrah and get thousands of them, right? I quickly want to show you guys the wiki and how skilling compares to, say, PVM. So this crafting Sunfire runes one right here is very risky, and it's not usually like 7 mil GP an hour. So if you think about it, like the most one here is like 4 mil, and that's still pretty damn good for skilling in 2025. But it's, again, you have to be lucky and get a drop from the elves or the Vyres, which again, these lead into like PVM, right? So like the drops from the actual skilling resource are used in PVM. Same with crafting Wrath runes, again, like 3 million GP an hour, very good for a skilling method in 2025. Again, the runes are used for PVM though, right? And it kind of just goes down the list, as you can see, right? There's only, you know, like less than 10 methods that make like 2+ million GP per hour with skilling, and you need very high requirements, like 95 rune crafting, 85 thieving, 99 recommended, right? If we go to, say, collecting, it gets even worse, right? Like, you know, looting coffins or buying beers 500k an hour. Like, these random ones like make you no money anymore. Processing skills, you know, you can make a little bit with eternal glories, but again, that's very luck based, considering you need to get that very rare chance, or else you're not really making a whole lot, right? I mean, some things, making Snapdragon potions right now for some reason is 1.7 mil, but you know, it's really hard to find very good money making methods. Until, of course, you go to combat, right? And you can see right here, Tombs of a Mask is solo right now. You know, I mean, you need to be very talented to do something like this, but hourly profit, 18 million GP, Killing Next, Theater of Blood. Like, if you look at this, it's all PVM related, and this is like the best ways to make money in the game. And like, they're way past skilling, like way past skilling. Let's go and try and find where it goes below 2 million GP per hour. So right here, below 2 million GP per hour, and it's something like as simple as like the the Royal Titans, and it's still better than skilling. Another thing I want to talk about is mini games and sort of like how they've kind of replaced traditional skilling methods. They have gotten a lot better over the years of them making them, and I honestly really like these mini games. They make skilling more fun and engaging, and a lot more people actually enjoy skilling, right, with the mini games, right? But like, for example, we've got like Winter Todd, and it was the first one, so I'm gonna try not to be too hard on it. But Winter Todd completely replaced pretty much the traditional fire making. It's not the best XP in the game, but it is fairly close, and you need nothing to enter it, and you just get insane XP. You get rewards as well, and if say everyone does Winter Todd for their fire making, that means no logs are actually leaving the game, so they're all staying in the game, right? Which is gonna eventually make the price of the logs go down and down, and like yeah. Some of the other mini games that they've done really well on are things like Guardians of the Rift or even Temporis, right? Where they're not even close to the best XP in the game. They're a lot more chill, relaxed. You can do it in a group of people. But the thing is, the rewards that they give you really help you outside of the minigame in other activities, right? So for example, something like Guardians of the Rift, you get the rune crafting outfit, which will give you a 60% more runes when traditionally rune crafting. So it's something to really go out of your way to get to help you with rune crafting outside of the minigame to make the traditional skilling better. And same with something like Temporis, you get the Spirit Flakes, right? And then it will make your fishing experience better overall, but not even close to offering the best XP in the game. I think one of the only ways that they can revive skilling is honestly just cut back on the drops from bosses, but I mean, it's almost like too late to do a lot of that, right? I think the main thing that they can do is add new skilling resources with, say, the sailing skill. They don't even have to use sailing, but it's just a really good excuse to add new resources on some brand new island, right? And don't make bosses spit them out. That's kind of the only way I can really see it in the future. These new resources will be the way that people skill, and they can actually make money with skilling rather than just pretty much making 200 to 300k an hour with methods that used to make you millions. And it's kind of sad to see, right? I remember back when I was a kid, like, everyone would just be in the flax field spinning flax, and like, that was how you made a lot of money back then. This is how people saved up for very expensive items. And they also, you know, trained their crafting along the way really slowly, but you know, picking the flax and making the bowstring was actually a really profitable method back then. And today it's just like almost not even worth doing, you know what I mean? So it's kind of just, the times have changed, and I really want to see skilling be more active and alive again like it used to be back in the day. But anyways, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you like the way the game is right now? I personally do. I do like the combat, and I like the whole PVM aspect. I just wish that there would be more incentive to go out and skill like there used to be, right? But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this down in the comments below. I will catch you guys in the next video. See ya later.